Today, we are talking about retention. And when retention feels stable, but nothing looks wrong, and nothing looks wrong, but decisions and things just seem harder than they need to be. It's like flying on partial instruments. Most founders are not flying blind. They're not flying blind. They're flying on partial instruments. And so most businesses are not operating without data. They're operating with partial data. And what happens when you're operating with partial data is that it's risky because it looks okay, and you don't know what you're missing. Fine versus visible. Retention feeling fine is not the same as retention being visible. Fine is a sense of comfort. Visible is a behavior that we trace over time. Those two drift apart as scale increases. Ask you a question. If churn isn't obvious, what are you not seeing? Most of the cost does not show up where attention is focused. LTV is not a calculation, it's a pattern. And LTV is usually treated as a number. But numbers summarize outcomes. They do not describe behavior. Why stable can be misleading. This is where averages become useful early and misleading later. The average smooths over upgrades, downgrades, and silent churn. But as behavior diverges, the average stays calm while reality becomes uneven. Stability at the summary level can coexist with instability underneath. And here's the thing. You are the system. When your business is small, you are the system. And then as your business grows, the signal time is longer and you can't see. You don't have the visibility there. Awareness is not immediate like it is today. And you know the early LTV. You don't guess early on because you know the clients. You know where they stand. Early on, retention doesn't need to be calculated. It's directly observable. And then segmentation disappears. LTV becomes a guess when segmentation disappears. The guessing begins when growth outpaces the segmentation and everything collapses under an average. Not because discipline disappeared, but because distinction disappeared. Segments like founders, builders, accelerators, different segments engage differently over time. And this affects our ability to be able to assess the truth in the numbers. Different segments churn differently. Once behavior is diverged, a single average can no longer be representative of the behavior and the present reality. Pricing without segmentation is blind risk. And this is where pricing decisions become exposed. Not because pricing is aggressive, but because the signal determining the pricing has become distorted and is partially represented, incomplete. Prices as filters. Price changes aren't tactics, they're filters. Every price selects for behavior. Price selects for behavior. Whether that selection is visible determines how much risk is being taken with that segment. When retention is visible, LTV stops being a guess. When behavior is no longer blended, clarity replaces estimation. Once you see clearly, the next move usually becomes obvious.